You've been wondering which food is best to introduce your baby to for weaning? Well, we'll discuss that today. Hello, you're welcome to Little Angel's Corner. My name is Dr. Stella. So today, as a follow-up to my last video on the steps to take to wean your baby, I believe you've weaned baby appropriately. So today, we're going to be discussing the best foods to introduce to baby for weaning. And since we're in Nigeria, we're going to be talking about Nigerian staples that can be used for weaning. So, by the time baby is 6 months, baby is ready to have semi-solids introduced into his diet. WHO has recommended that by 6 months, breast milk or formula milk alone is no longer sufficient. There is need to introduce other nutrients through semi-solids and then eventually solids. So for this transition, we're going to consider that basically there are 3 main classes of nutrients. There is carbohydrates, which forms the bulk of nutrients in any baby's food, even that of adults. There are proteins and then there are fats. Also, we have the vitamins and then the trace elements like iron and then calcium as well. So that when we're going to introduce babies' weaning foods, we're going to have in mind this class of nutrients so that baby is going to be getting a balanced diet. Like I've said, there are so many, Nigeria is blessed with so many foods, so many staples that we can use to introduce baby to. Starting with the most easily available is pap. Pap in our local parlance is ogi or akamu. It's made from millet or from corn seeds. It's blended and then prepared in such a way that it is made into a puree for baby. It's mainly carbohydrate. Therefore, we advise that the mother should also add some other class of nutrients. You can add egg, which will be a form of protein. You can also add groundnuts. You can even add milk as well. All this will enrich the diet to be more complete and balanced. So what we call moi moi, which is actually steamed bean pudding. It is beans that is blended and then wrapped in leaves and steamed. It's called moi moi and is also very rich in protein and to some extent in carbohydrate. So it can be given to baby with milk, with akara as well, and then eggs, depending on how you want to blend it, so that it is also a complete balanced diet for baby. It comes out very tasty and nutritious. Also, akara, which is bean cake. It's also very rich in protein. We can now, it's mainly made of beans. We can now decide to add egg or milk in the diet to give baby. It can be blended in form of a puree and given to baby. We also could mash potatoes, or we could also mash rice. These are good sources of carbohydrates. And then we can add fish or vegetables depending on what you have at home. All these are good nutrients for baby. And this can also be blended into a puree and given to baby to take using a cup and spoon or a bowl and spoon. baby usually finds it as fun time while you are feeding him with these diets. There's also, we could also use yam, mashed yam, do it with eggs as well, and it forms another form of balanced diet containing carbohydrate and protein. And then we could also use our native, what we call swallow, which is actually ground flour in form of either corn flour, cassava flour, or yam flour. It is boiled and stirred into a paste, and then we can give it to baby using our native soup, any of our soups that are highly nutritious. There's a goosey soup, there's okra soup, there's a wedu soup, there's oha soup. There are so many soups, different soups, and they are all highly nutritious, both in iron, carbohydrates. Since they contain vegetable, they are rich in iron, they are rich in protein. Then the carbohydrate source comes from the ground yam flour or cassava flour you're using, as the case may be. And of course, we have fruits that are abundant in every part of Nigeria. Baby must have fruits with his meals. We have fruits in form of pawpaw, in form of pineapple, in form of watermelon, in form of banana, in form of oranges, and baby can start taking them right from 6 months. It will be good. You'll do well to make a smoothie out of these fruits. Either a smoothie whereby you remove the seeds, or you could make a puree as well out of these fruits and give to baby. It is usually very tasty for baby. And then it's good to remind us that this is usually a very gradual process. The first thing is you start making his meals as puree, which is in semi-solid form, because baby may not have any teeth at about that 6 months. And then as baby is getting older, you now think of making it into paste, whereby you mash it and it's more of solid than liquid. And then after that, you can, when baby is about 10 months to a year, baby can actually take the solid form of the food in terms of sticks of yam or even the balls, yam balls, and all that. So we're going to talk about the advantages of this type of feeding using our staples, our local staples. It's cost effective. Rather than go to the shops and buy the bottled puree foods for babies, it's cost effective for us to use what we have on ground at home. And then also, you are making it under a hygienic environment. You are sure of the source, where it's coming from. Again, it's also a balanced diet. It cuts across all the classes of the nutrients that baby needs in terms of carbohydrate, protein, fat, vitamins, and the rest of it. And also, in terms of variety, it's there. I've listed at least 7 different staples which baby can take. So once baby gets bored with one taste, you move on to the next one. So you do this gradually over some weeks, over some months. After speaking about the advantages, let's not forget that we're also introducing baby early enough to our cultural system. We're introducing him early enough to what is indigenous with his culture so that he learns what his culture is all about. That is not to say that the foreign foods are not good. They are equally good, but however, let's start with our own locally grown foods. Then I'm sure you would want to know, are there any disadvantages? I won't call them disadvantages. They are more like precautions. When we're making these meals for baby, like I've said, we should make sure that the environment is neat and hygienic. That is a good precaution to take. And then it's always good for us to grade it. Start first from purees before you now graduate baby to mashed foods, which are in form of paste, before the solid. That way, you're even training baby as per his swallowing and his chewing mechanisms. And then also these foods Sometimes there are allergic reactions to them, especially the seafoods. So that is why it's good to introduce these foods one at a time. You give baby and watch over some days and know which ones he may be allergic to and which ones he won't be allergic to. It's a gradual process and it's one at a time. And finally, before we go off, it would be nice for me to reiterate again that these foods are locally available here. They are present in our climate here. They are easily available in the market, and it's left for you to try it out with baby, which flavor, which way he prefers it. And over time, you'll know what is most suited for baby, and you give it to him gradually over a long period. Let's not forget that we must give him fruits with this, and of course, lots of water. And gradually, before you know it, baby will start eating with the rest of the family, whatever the family is taking. Baby will feel like joining the whole family in their normal diet. So I hope you have found this video interesting and useful. If so, kindly like, share, and subscribe so that other mothers will get this information. And together we can grow a community of well-informed mothers with healthy babies. If you have any questions, please put it in the comment section and I'll be sure to answer your questions. Bye. See you in my next video.